I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So, what have you been up to lately?
Well, I've been really busy just with school and track, and then also like it's homecoming week, so just kind of doing some homecoming events and stuff like that to get points for our team. So it's kind of been my main things going on.
What events have you gone to so far?
I went to the Glow Parade, like the homecoming kickoff, where they did
Okay.
speeches and stuff like that. So we walked around campus with like your group or whatever, but I walked around with not my group because I couldn't find us at the time. And then we came back here and they had like, they said it was a barbecue, but it was just some snacks. They had like fruit and like chips and pretzels and that kind of thing, and then they had like speeches. And each person had like 2 minutes to talk about whatever they wanted to, just kind of introduce themselves. But most people basically, you vote for like your group, so they don't really mean a whole lot, but it's just kind of the whole idea of it. It's just kind of like a fun way to get the campus all together for homecoming. And then tonight I went to the hypnotist, which was really cool. We had one come in high school all the time, but I haven't been to one in like 3 years now, so it was kind of cool to see. It was a little slow at the beginning, but he did a good job like picking it up, and it was really fun. It was a lot longer than I expected it to be, so it kind of took away from my homework time, but it was really good, so I'm not complaining.
Cool. So, which group are you involved in? You said that there's different groups on campus. So, which one are you getting the points for?
Well, I'm getting the points for my sorority Kappa Delta. However, I think there's like a group for each like dorm. I know like Uptown has one, and like all the dorms have one. So, I mean, I'm in with Kappa Delta though, but I could.
Can you earn points for more than one, or is it just one?
You can. Every event you get to, you check in. So like I could check in. Like you could check in once, and then once you check in, you get a little purple line on your hand.
Okay.
And you can check in for whatever team you want. So I could check in with like a fraternity. I could check in with like SALT or something. I could check in with like my sorority or my dorm.
Okay.
So.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. So you had said that you had like kind of a lot of homework, and the time that you had spent kind of took away from that. How was your schoolwork going?
School's going well. I'm like really happy with changing my major.
Okay.
It's been a positive change. It's a lot more like busy work, it feels like almost, but it's definitely what I like doing. I'm still taking one chemistry class right now just because I'm finishing it with a minor, just so my parents are kind of happy, just because that's where I started. They're like, why don't you just stick with what you were doing, or compromising. And that class is just really stressing me out. Like, it's not like I'm doing terribly in it, but it's just a lot of work to put in for something that I'm not interested in at all. So it's just kind of like I have to like force myself to study, and so it's not my favorite. But other than that, classes are going fairly well.
So do you think you'll use your chemistry minor at all when you
Probably
graduate?
not. The only way I would use it if I would be like a teacher or something along those lines.
Okay, and you're not interested in that at all or anything?
Not really, but my mom was the same way, so she keeps saying like, oh, you might take it, like you might use it in your future, because she went to school. She started out in education, and then she switched to like, she went to Valpo also, but they had like a fashion design major or something like that. She went into that and did that for a few years, and then she came, after she had like me, she stuck with her job, but then when she had my brother, she was like, all right, I need to do a job that has like works hours so that I can deal with like kids and all that kind of thing. So she switched back to teaching. She got her certification and went to teach. So she keeps saying that like once I have kids, I'm gonna want my summers off and that kind of stuff. But I know with social work, I could work in a school and I could do the same thing. So I don't think she just hasn't like put all that together. But I mean, I have the option if I ever like change my mind or something happens. So.
Cool. So how's track been going? I heard you guys just got a new track on the football field.
We did. It was a nice surprise. We found out early last spring, that we were getting one. And we finally we started practicing on it probably 2.5 weeks ago, maybe.
Okay.
And it's been awesome. We have like so much more space, and it's so much like nicer on our legs. Like we have a lot less shin splints and everything so far. So that's really exciting. And we get to start like vaulting on it tomorrow, so I'll actually get to like really use it. So I'm excited about that. But it's been awesome. So.
Yeah. So you're a vaulter?
Yeah, I pole vault.
Okay, so then how did you get into that? Because I know that's not something that like you're kind of born with the gift. You have to like try it out. So how did you start getting into that?
Well, I did gymnastics.
Okay.
Like all my life, I started when I was 3, and then I started competing when I was in first grade. And I competed gymnastics all the way through my senior year. But then in high school, my high school required you to do 3 sports, like a sport every semester. So I could count gymnastics for one sport, even though it's year-round, but I still had to do 2 sports at the school. So I did diving, which relates right to gymnastics, like super easy, just land in the water, sit on the floor.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I have to pick a spring sport. So I decided to do track because there was another girl on the gymnastics team at my gym that pole vaulted, and she was going to college to pole vault, and I was like, oh, that'd be really cool. And she's like, oh, you'll be really good at it if you're like did gymnastics, because it's a lot of the same muscles, use your entire body. It's not just like one thing, and it's a lot of the same movement. So I kind of got involved that way, and then I did outdoor track my freshman and sophomore year of high school. Then junior and senior year, I did it indoor and outdoor, and then I looked at schools for it. I looked at schools for both gymnastics and track, and then didn't really want to do gymnastics, so I can't give out both.
How did you make that decision between track and gymnastics?
Gymnastics was one of those things where it was like I was kind of just there at the end for my friends. It wasn't like I really wanted to do it. It's really fun, and it was it's fun looking back, but like when I was doing it, I didn't really enjoy it as much. It was just such a big time commitment. I was in the gym 20 to 30 hours a week on top of school, and it wasn't fun. Like I didn't really have like weekend life. Like we had Friday night practice from 5 to 9, then we'd have Saturday morning practice from 8 to noon or 9 to 1, depending on the day, and then we had Sunday practice from 1 to 6.
Oh, wow.
So it was like I didn't have a weekend, and then like Saturday afternoon I did my schoolwork, and then Sunday morning I went to church, and then it's like practice, and Sunday night I'm like, oh, I want to get to bed tonight because it's the only night I get to go to bed early, so I just really didn't have like a social life, and it was like, I know in college it wouldn't be the same, it's a lot more laid back, but my body was just like taking a toll, and I'm a tall person, and I'm really not that tall, so I struggled with that aspect. And if I did gymnastics in college, I probably only would have competed beam, so it wouldn't have been as bad on my body, but I was just kind of ready for a change. So
how many hours do you think you spend at track practice then? Because I know that's a lot of a commitment to
at school here,
right?
Well, we are like. Usually practice around 3:30 to 6, 3:30 to 6:30. It just kind of depends on the day, Monday through Saturday. So we go around, I think right now we're around 20 hours a week.
Okay.
So we just started in full season. The first month of practice when we got here, all through September, we were only in 8 hours a week.
Okay.
Excuse me. So we had a lot of captain practice type things where the coaches weren't there, but we were still practicing the same amount of time just to kind of prepare for the coach practice, just because it's a lot just to get used to, especially for the freshmen. It's a nice way to help them ease into it and adjust and not just die the first week with the coaches.
Yeah.
So,
Now, how does that affect your schoolwork? Because I know that, especially with changing your major, you have to adjust the way you do things. How has that affected you?
In the fall, it's really not that bad. We have practice 20 hours a week in the afternoon so I can't take classes from between 3 and 6. But it's really not that bad in the fall. It's the spring, it's really difficult because we travel. We start traveling in December, and we travel the whole way through until spring finals. So we miss every Friday, every other Friday.
Oh, wow.
Especially in indoor season, because a lot more meets are on Fridays, just for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it's always how it's been. So it's really hard, and I try and schedule classes lighter in the spring, so I take heavier classes in the fall. But with changing my major, it's going to be pretty much 4 heavy semesters in a row. But I am excited because I tested into an upper level Spanish this semester, so if I finish it with just passing grade, I will have all my Spanish requirements, and so I'll take another one. So that'll free up 4 credits of my spring semester somewhere. So that's exciting. But it's a huge time commitment. But it's not too bad to balance. Right now, it's just in the spring it's hard, and it's really hard to balance it with extracurricular activities outside of school.
Okay. Cool. So you said you had tested into a higher level Spanish class. Have you taken Spanish before, or?
I took it in high school. I took 3 years of it in high school. In high school, you had the option to take Latin, German, Spanish, French, Chinese. I think those are the 5 languages. But if you come in as a freshman or a sophomore, you have to take 3 years of a language.
Okay.
So in my 3 years, I took Spanish, and then what we've done, I'm in 203, I believe, right now.
Okay.
And we did the stuff we're doing in 203 in my first year Spanish class, so it's kind of a nice review. We're definitely moving slower than I ever did in high school, so it's really nice. And then my last year of Spanish, to test out in high school, we had to test out of it, or else we had to take it a 4th year in high school. And to test out, we had to talk to a native speaker on the phone, one of my teachers' friends from Spain. We called them in Spain and talked with them for 20 minutes or so. It was 20 or 30 minutes, and it was super scary, and they had their really thick Spanish accent, so it was really difficult. But we talked about, I don't even remember what book. We talked about a book or a poem or something the whole time. So it was like one thing I could like I knew all like the vocab for and everything and I prepared for. So it went really well. Not great, but I mean I passed and I got out of Spanish. So, but I've never like gotten A's on Spanish tests before until this year. So it's kind of like a nice just like I don't know happiness,
confidence
booster.
Boost,
Confidence boost. Yeah, so that's exciting.
So then, besides track and school and everything, how are you adjusting with everything this semester?
I feel like I'm adjusting well. It's a lot nicer not living in like a community dorm. I'm in like the apartment style dorm, so it's a lot more like you have your own space. I have my own bedroom and bathroom, so I can kind of shut my door and just kind of like get my stuff done. But then I can go out and hang out, and it's not so loud because I'm a person that usually goes to bed early. I feel like this year that's just changed because of having so much work.
Yeah.
But I also start classes an hour later, so I have an extra hour to sleep in there. But I feel like overall I'm adjusting.
That's good. So what made you decide to live in Uptown instead of the community dorm?
Well, my roommate, she's a vaulter also on the track team. We're like best friends. We do like everything together. She lived with me on the sorority floor last year, and she's not in the sorority, so she's also gluten-free. She has celiac disease, so she can't have any wheat products. And eating in the dining hall is just not really like doing it for her. Like there's not many options. Like she can eat grilled chicken every day, but that's basically all she can have for like a hot food. So she kind of wants to wanted to be able to make her own food, and they were letting her move in last year early as a sophomore if she wanted to, but she would have to live with like whoever they put her with.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm just gonna wait here and then next year apply to get in. And so she applied. We all applied as a group, and we got in. So she's super excited about that. And then, like, I wasn't gonna complain and say no, I don't want to live in a nicer dorm. So like the fact that we got in, I was so happy about. But I wasn't really expecting to, so I would have been okay with living in a regular dorm. But it's a nice incentive, especially like living in a dorm so many years. So it's nice.
Yeah. So then that's your roommate, and so who else are you living with, or is it just you two?
I live with two other girls. One girl is Amy Beggar. She's in my sorority. I didn't really know her at all last year. She lived literally across the hall from me, but she always had everyone in her room. So like at night, like after 10 o'clock, our door was always shut in like me and Sarah's room. So if I ever even after like 10:15 or something, if we would just like turn the like handle or something, she knew like she would run the door and, like in her room and shut the door and like try and make it super quiet. Because she thought we were coming out to like tell them to quiet down, which we did occasionally, but not like all the time. But she was always super scared. Like that was that. But usually it was just like us going to the bathroom or something.
Yeah.
But then we just kind of got to know each other like the very like last 3 months, like right when room selection started. Like I didn't even know her when we started like filling things out, and she didn't actually originally plan to live with us. It was gonna be one of my other friends who's from Nebraska. But she decided, she was a nursing major, and she transferred into a different nursing program just because she was really homesick. She grew up on a farm. She's always been really family-oriented. So she wanted to go to school somewhere where she could go home on the weekends, but she didn't live at home.
Right.
So she's going to school in Oklahoma, and she's like 2 or 3 hours away from home. So she can still go home, and she's much happier in that aspect. She's really sad 'cause she doesn't know anyone there. She transferred as a junior, so it's hard. But so that her room opened up, and we're like, shoots, we don't know who we're going to like put in there. Like we're probably going to get some random person. And then Amy came back to us and she was like, yeah, I don't think like my current, like the roommate I was going to live with, I was like, we talked about it and she's going to have a single and I'm just going to go with you. It'll just be better. And like now they're better friends because of that. And then another roommate we're living with is Nicole. She's a 5th year student here. So she'll be here just this semester, and then next semester she's studying abroad for her international business major. I think in Paris or France, or like I know Paris and France, but like somewhere in that area. So I'm not exactly sure what she's doing. I know she's going to be in France, though.
Yeah.
So her room will open up, and we have 2 girls that have talked to us about moving in. One girl's in the track team, and then another girl's in the sorority. But Sarah and I are gonna let it up to Amy because Sarah and I are gonna be gone all the time in the spring for track. So we don't want her to be in the apartment alone for like 2 or 3 nights in a row by herself.
Right.
So I think it'll be a girl from the sorority, Emily. So that'll be exciting, just to have like an exchange of pace. I mean, it's great living with Nicole, but she's taking like 19 credits, so she's like so busy and she's never around. So it'll be nice to like have someone else. 2 more nursing majors. So.
Yeah. So then, is it hard for Sarah since she's the only one who's not in the sorority?
Not really at all. I mean, she's kind of like an honorary member in a way. She knows everyone, and I think she's closer with some of them than I am, like, because they're all in nursing classes with her.
Yeah.
And I, like, have no time for anything. So she gets to know them in that aspect better, so.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, so, because that can always add some tension
Yeah.
whenever someone doesn't get along as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, do you have anything else going on? I know you said your mom was an alumni, so is she coming back for homecoming?
She's actually not coming. Original plan was for her to fly in, or else her and my dad to drive out, depending. But my grandma has been having, like, it was a long story. I'll start at the beginning with my grandma. So she broke her foot my freshman year here. And then it was like fixed. They put pins in it. Everything was fine. Well, when I was home over the summer, she got, like, it started turning black and blue. So, like, okay, they thought she had, like, tripped over or something, but she didn't. She got an infection. So they started giving her an IV, and she was allergic to it, like the medicine, but they didn't know right away. So she had, like, a week's worth of IV before they found out she was allergic to it. And she also doesn't really ever drink water. All she does is drink, like, 1 Diet Coke a day and then her glass of wine at night. And she takes, like, her Percocet for the pain and, like, different things like that. So it was just, like, a really bad combination, and she was super dehydrated. So, like, my parents go over all the time. Like, they live, like, 20 minutes from us, and we always go over there. And, like, they're, like, my second home. Like, I'm always with my grandparents. And they, like, my grandfather's like, yeah, you need to, like, take her to the hospital because I can't pick her up. So, like, my dad and my brother and my mom went, and they took her to the hospital. She was super dehydrated. So she was there about a week, and they had to put her on dialysis because her, like, kidneys failed and, like, all this other stuff. But she's doing better now. She's off of everything. But my mom didn't want to book tickets at the time because she was just a little nervous about everything. So she's thinking about flying in for our fall break, which is in 2 weeks.
Okay.
But she's not sure. She also talked about me coming home for fall break, which would have been, like, a really awesome surprise. But I don't think we can leave because of track. But I'm not 100% sure. The coaches haven't really made it clear, so that's kind of late notice if they tell us to stay. But it's not like we have a choice. So she's not coming, but I was really hoping that she would, just because she's never been here for homecoming.
Yeah.
And, like, she came to homecoming, like, I think a year or two after she graduated, but she said, like, it was fun, but she didn't really have any, like, desire to come back to homecoming just because she wasn't involved in, like, a sorority or anything, so she didn't really have, like, any tie to the school. Right. And, like, now they don't even have her, like, major or anything. But, like, now with me here, she can come and, like, do my things and kind of get to know other people who are alums that may have been connected in some way, so.
That's cool. So, you said fall break you might have track stuff. If you don't have track stuff, what do you plan on doing?
Well, I have a couple of options. I know my roommate Sarah had asked me to go home, possibly, like, go up to Lake Geneva with her because they have a lake house on the lake. And then also my boyfriend asked me to go up to Michigan with him for the weekend. But I feel like if I go anywhere, I would probably go up to the lake with Sarah just because she asked me, like, a long time ago, and like, I see Mike all the time, so I'm kind of like, I deserve to, like, go and do something with her, and he can kind of have his own weekend, like, whatever, it's not a big deal. But it's always fun when we can get away together, like, just because, but.
That's cool. So then how long have you and Mike been dating if he's, like, already taking you home?
Well, technically we've been dating it'll be 2 years in January. We had a little bit of, like, a hiccup over the summer just because, like, I was just really stressed out about everything. Like, I had surgery and stuff over the summer, and I was just stressed out. And then he's very, very, like, serious about everything. So it was just kind of like, I don't know. It was just kind of like we had some, like, issues, but everything, like, worked itself out and, like, worked itself out for the better, and everything's better than it was. And we live really far apart from each other too for the summer, so it was really hard because I couldn't fly or anything because I had surgery. And he couldn't get off work because he was supposed to come back from football training camp. So it's just like we only had, like, these 2 months, and we couldn't, like, physically see each other, but it was just, like, all this stuff, so it was hard, but
it's all worked out.
It is, he sent me lots of little cards and stuff too, so he cared deep down.
That's good.
So,
do you have anything else going on?
Let me think about what's going on. Oh, homecoming weekend.
Okay.
This is just a side note. It's something that's been kind of bugging me and, like, really distracting me from everything the past, like, 2 days, I guess, 3 days, I don't know. So one of my, like, really good friends, she graduated last year, and then my roommate Amy, her really good friends, they're both really good friends, they graduated last year as well. Yeah. They both graduated last year, let's go with that. God, confusing myself. Okay, so they graduate, and they're both coming back for homecoming. And my friend had asked if, like, she could stay with me over homecoming, and I was like, yeah. I'll get back to you on that because my mom might be staying with me. Like, she might be coming in, so, like, I'm going to let her stay in my apartment over you just because she's my mom. Like, I'm not going to make her fly in and get a hotel room when you live in Chicago. but then she never got back to me, so I just kind of assumed she wasn't staying with me or anything.
Yeah.
She never, like, asked or anything, so I was like, okay. But then my roommate Amy was like, oh, so Amber, my friend, and Amy's friend were like, oh, they're going to sleep in your bed. That's what I was told. I was like, oh, that's not what I was told at all. So I, like, asked her, I was like, hey, what's going on? Like, I just am confused what's going on. And then she just, like, assumed, she just felt entitled. Like, it's something that I'm really struggling with because she just feels so entitled about everything. And she feels like the world needs to revolve around her. And it's just like, I don't mind if you stay with me, but it's like, we have fobs to get in the dorm and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she's over 21, so she's going to be going out, whereas I have track practice at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday because of, like, homecoming events and stuff going on. So it's not really fair to me to stay up to let her in at 3 and when she's inviting herself over to stay with me. So it's just kind of really frustrating, and I'm not really sure what's going on now. I don't even know where she's staying, but she just told me she wasn't going to stay with me anymore. So I said, okay. So we might get together on Saturday night, but I'm not really sure. So that's kind of a project in the works. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not, like, mad at her. I'm just, like, irritated at the fact that she just feels so entitled.
Did you confront her about this, or did you just kind of, like, sleep in another
I did. One day I was like, I'm so busy, and I texted her because, like, she's working and stuff, so our schedules don't line up at all. And I was just like, hey, like, I had heard from someone else that you're staying with me, but I just would appreciate it if you would text, like, talk to me about it, or just simply ask me, or just, like, be like, hey, this is what my plan is it okay with you? Something, but she didn't, like, confirm anything with me. She was just going to show up on Friday. I wouldn't have been around on Friday. I have practice late Friday night and then Saturday morning early. Like, I don't know how that would have worked, so I mean, I guess everything's kind of working out for the better. She's not staying with me, but I'll still get to see her.
Yeah.
But it's still just, like, frustrating, and she's very, like, an overwhelming person. Like, you can take her in, like, small doses. She's a great person, but she's just very, very crazy. Yeah, she's a lot. So I think it all worked out for the best in a way. I don't know. I just want her to learn that she can't be entitled to everything.
Right.
And that she just have to, like, just talk to people. Like, all you have to do is ask a simple question, and, like, one little question can take you so far, so.
Have you ever had this problem with her before, or is this, like, the first time?
I mean, I notice it in, like, some things, but I'm just like, okay, like, she's the only girl in the family, like, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Or, like, and I know her mom, like, spoils her a lot, and she comes from, like, an upscale family and that kind of thing. So, like, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. But just the fact that, like, when I had texted her like this, she's like, I did ask/tell you that I'm staying with you. I'm like, that's not okay. Like,
yeah, it's kind of frustrating that she just kind of, like, told you.
Yeah, it really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm just kind of letting it go. I'm going to be the bigger person, even though she is 23 years old and can do it herself. But I'm going to be the bigger person, so it's okay.
Well, that's frustrating that, like, especially that one of your close friends would do that. It's not just, like, a friend. It's
like, really close, it means a lot, so. But it is what it is. I'm not going to, like, ruin my weekend. It's just, like, one of those things that's irritating.
Yeah.
But.
So for this weekend, besides track practice, do you have anything going on? Are you going to the game or anything?
Well, I will be at the football game, but, I mean, I will go anyway, but we're actually being, like, we have to go because they're dedicating the track.
Oh, cool.
So that's really exciting.
What are they going to do? I've never been to a track
I just
dedication
know it's,
before.
Yeah, me either. It's at halftime. That's all I know. And, like, the track alumni were invited, and we have a section in the stands just for the track team and alumni.
Fancy.
Yeah. So that's exciting, and we're basically gonna walk on the field, and we have to wear dress pants and t-shirts.
Oh.
So it's gonna look really, really terrible.
Yeah.
But
it's an interesting choice.
The coaches are like, wear upscale school, and we're like, what does that mean? Like, because nice jeans with your track shirts would look nice.
Yeah.
But nope, we're wearing dress pants, and they said it can any color dress pants, just dress pants. And nice shoes, but then your track t-shirt and your track warm-up jacket. So I'm like, okay, whatever floats your boats, we're going to look awful. The boys won't look bad because khakis will go with anything for a guy, but for a girl, they're like dress pants. It's not going to look
They're very
bad.
distinct.
Yeah. So, but that's my weekend. That's the only thing I really have planned is the track dedication. I think there's like a street fair going on.
Okay.
Before, just for like a tailgating kind of thing, Valpo style. So it's not really a tailgate, but just kind of a get together.
Have you ever gone to any of the homecoming stuff before? Or this
I have. I went, I guess last 2 years, I think.
Okay.
Last year was like the first big year because they were allowed to have a beer tent and stuff like that, so it was kind of a big deal. My freshman year, it wasn't like anything special. There were like 3 or 4 tents, and I wasn't in any clubs or organizations yet because I had been here for 2 months, so it wasn't a big deal. But then last year I got to see it all, so it was kind of cool. But yeah, it's just nice to see everybody, and like it's surprising to see like what alumni come back and like what you think would come back don't always. So it's kind of cool.
So now you said how like homecoming weekend has progressed. Have you seen like how Valpo's progressed like as a whole since you've been here, or has it kind of been like consistent in what's been going on?
I feel like in a way it has, like, there's been a new dorm that's going up, and like our track was a surprise to us. I know they were supposed to have an indoor like rec sport facility and indoor track go up by my senior year, and I definitely know it's not going to happen because they haven't started that.
Yeah.
But then there are sorority houses going up, so that's kind of a new thing, and there's supposed to be a new science center. It'll probably be started by my senior year, but it won't be done.
Yeah.
There's just like a lot of things going on, a lot of expansion starting, which is really cool to see. And I also heard today, I don't even know if this is true, but I heard before practice, like before we did the Valparaiso thing today with our track team, that the school colors might go from, like, you know how there's like the brown gold and there's like a 10% lime green?
Yeah.
They might switch that to like a light blue.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think it might look better because the green and yellow really clash.
Yeah.
So I think it looked like better, but I don't know if it's actually true. I just kind of heard that from the grapevine. So
yeah.
I don't know, but I thought that'd be really cool.
See how
they said that might happen next year too, so it'd be really cool for our senior year to have like different colored track gear for our first years being. Well, we do black because Lunky doesn't even make brown in track gear, so we do black and gold and green. So it'd be cool to see it in like the blue. So I'm excited about that if that actually happens.
Yeah, that's exciting. And you just said that you did Valparaiso. What's that?
Well, I'm not exactly sure exactly what it's for. I just know it's for like the Valpo community. It's a park going on. It's like down Roosevelt, so it's kind of in walking distance from here. I want to say it's like a mile and a half down Roosevelt from campus. And it's like everyone right now is volunteering to build a park. I know it was a homecoming activity yesterday, but I had practice during it. But our coaches had us go, like, sign up for a 3-hour slot today during our practice in place of practice. So it was kind of nice to do that instead of practice. But, so we went and did that. We built a playground. So all I did today was literally, they would cut a piece of wood. I had to number it, whatever number they told me, and then take it over and put it in a pile.
Oh.
And I did that for like 3 hours. And they also served us dinner. I mean, it was like potluck kind of thing, like nothing super fancy, but it was still good. And our social work advisor is one of the people in charge. So that was kind of cool to see. Like her and her husband are doing it. So yeah, it was kind of fun. And we did it with our coaches, and like our coaches' wives came, and just like it was good team bonding too. And it was just like fun to see where like everyone's skills and talents are. Because some of the boys didn't even know what like a Phillips head or like a flathead screwdriver were, and like I'm like, okay, I know that, but I don't know how to work like a circular saw or something. So it was kind of cool to see like the difference. But
is the track team pretty close? You had said it was a good bonding experience, but like overall, are you guys close?
I wouldn't say as like an entire team we're close. I think we're definitely closer than my freshman year. My freshman year was super cliquey.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've gotten a lot closer. But it's like it's like whoever you work out with. So the sprinters are super close.
Yeah.
The throwers are close. The distance people are close, and then like the jumpers. So jumpers are like javelin, long jump, triple jump, high jump, pole vault. I think that's all of them. So we're all really close, like as a group. And like we know the sprinters pretty well because we do like our sprint workouts with them once a week, twice a week, depending on the week. We don't really do anything with the throwers.
Okay.
And the distance kids are doing cross country right now, so we never see them.
Yeah.
But we're close in like our own groups, and then as the year goes, like as the season goes on, we get to know everyone more. The freshman class this year though was awesome. Like we got 10 new jumper boys. We didn't get any girls, but they're all boys. But they're all great. Like they're all they want to be there. They're super like enthusiastic. They like the very first week of practice. It was so funny to see. We had like take the big Gatorade thing of water, the jug thing, and you have to hold it up in order to get like fill up your water bottle and stuff. Well, like if it would have been my freshman year, no one would have picked it up for you. But like this year, everybody was fighting over who could hold it up for people to drink out of. Like it was so cool to see because like we've never had that kind of like bonding. And I know the coaches are like being a lot more strict about everything because before it was kind of like it's track, we don't have a track, so we're not gonna like cut people, but like people are getting cut if they're not meeting standards, if they're not if you skip class like more than like once or twice, you're cut, like unless you're sick or something. Gonna be there. Same with practice, you better be there like no matter what. Even if you're sick, show up and then they'll send you home most likely, but you still have to be there. There's a one strike policy that is it, like so it's kind of good. It's a good direction, and I think it'll make us a lot more competitive in our conference.
So do you think the track is kind of making these changes, or do you think it's like just something that's happening this year?
I think it's definitely something that coaches have wanted to do for a while, but we haven't had the facility to do it. And now that we do have a facility where we can recruit people and be like, yes, this is our track, like we have a place that we practice, like we host meets, like that kind of thing. I think that's definitely why they're cracking down. I know that they've wanted to in the past, and they've said about it, but they've never actually enforced what they've said.
Yeah.
But they're showing that they are, so it's a good start for the program.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So then, do you think in years to come, like, the recruiting class will get better because of this track, or do you think it's just gonna kind of stay the same? How is the track gonna affect everything?
I definitely think it'll get better, and I think having a track means we'll get more funding. By hosting meets and stuff, we'll be making money as a team, which means we have more money for scholarships, which means we have more money for equipment. We'll have, hopefully, like, a new locker room, because we don't have a locker room. We're, like, the only sports team besides, like, bowling on campus.
How do you, like, get ready for it? Like,
we do everything in our own room, and then we just take everything, our backpacks to practice with all of our stuff, and we have our spikes, like, our foam rollers, our water bottles, our tape, or anything you can think of, like, our ibuprofen, our whatever you name it, it's in there, our bags. So I know our coaches are building us, like, we have a shed out by the track that's just the track teams. They're building us cubbies so we can, like, leave our bags with, like, the spikes and stuff in. But that won't be once it's, like, snowing, when we have practice indoor on the terrible indoor track. Like, we won't have any place to leave our bags, so I don't know if that'll be helpful or not. But it's a start. I just really would love to see a locker room.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Like, even if I could just take my books there and, like, get changed in my practice clothes, like, in my locker, and then go to practice, and then go right back to class, like, that'd be so nice.
So now, I've noticed definitely on campus how football has been getting a lot more funding from the university. How has that affected, like, the track team? Because you have so little that the football team has a lot more than you, and then they're getting even more. Do you think that affects any of the runners?
I don't really... It's hard to tell because we just got our tracks. Like, I don't know where our money is going. Before, in the past, it's always just been, like, to travel for meets.
Right.
That kind of thing. And we get, like, a few T-shirts, but nothing. Like, we don't get gear. We have to order our own gear.
Okay.
I know this year we're getting, like, practice gear. It's, like, we pay $50. The coaches are paying the rest of it. So it's, like, it's not that expensive at all. But that hasn't come in yet. What else are we getting? We got new pits and stuff like that. The new pole vault pit with, like, the Valpo logo on Valpo colors. It's gonna be, I think it's going to be gray with, like, Valpo. I don't really know what's on it. I haven't seen it. I just know we're getting one. We're getting a high jump pit. We got a whole new track. Like, we can't really complain this year.
Right.
But it would be nice after we host a meet just to get something.
Yeah.
A nice, like, little incentive. And I think that'll also bring people in because people ask those questions all the time on recruiting trips, and we don't have, like, anything to show them. It's like, oh, what kind of gear do you get? It's like, oh, well, I got this T-shirt.
Yeah.
But that's kind of all. But I think a lot more people come to Valpo because of the academics, especially, like, nursing and engineering program. I think that's, like, the big thing that's drawing people in, so.
Does that affect how the team, like, works? It's kind of, like, academics always put it number one and then track number two?
Yeah, I mean, our coaches even enforce academics 1, track 2, anything else, anything else is 3. So, like, even, like, going home is not a priority over practice. You leave after practice is over, and you get back before the next practice. I mean, unless there's, like, a death or a wedding, it's a little bit of an exception. But other than that, you are at practice or in class. Like, they're your only 2 options during practice time. That's always been strict, and I feel like the team abides by that anyway. Like, most kids are here for an education. Their track's just a bonus, which I agree with. But, I don't know. It's just something I've never really thought about because we've never had any issues with, but I know the track team has, like, one of the highest GPAs on campus. I don't know exactly what it is. I know it's above a 3.5, but I don't know exactly what it is, which is pretty impressive. Even to have, like, a 3.5 overall with 70 kids on the team, like, that's a lot.
Yeah, especially with track taking up so much time.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So it's kind of cool to see.
Cool. Okay. Is there anything else going on? Or anything to think of?
Let me think. I'm sure there's stuff going on. I just feel like I haven't had any time to, like, sleep. My room is a disaster. I'm very clean, and it's just been, like, one thing after another with school and whatnot, and homecoming week, and then this weekend trying to figure everything out. It's just been, like, stressful, and I don't know. I don't even think, we had, like, dinner at Valpo's the other night, but, like, I ate 1 piece of chicken, because, like, I just felt bad eating when I was carrying wood when there's other people, like, carrying, like, huge things of concrete everywhere, and I was like, yeah, you guys can eat, like, the kids on the track team. I was like, I'll just wait, so I haven't really, like, eaten, like, real meals, so I'm kind of hungry. But that's kind of all that's going on in my life.
Well, I hope you get some dinner, and I hope you figure out everything with your friend this weekend. I know that's been pretty hard, so I hope all gets worked out, and congratulations on the track, and have fun at the football game with your pants and t-shirt, and
Yeah.
I hope that looks okay. So I look forward to hearing how everything goes next time.
Thank you.